Once upon a time, a long time ago, there lived a very wealthy man named Kubera. Kubera was the treasurer of all the gods up in heaven. Kubera was such a wealthy man. He lived in an enormous palace. Kubera loved to dress in all his finest clothes. He put on his big, heavy golden crown, all of his golden amulets, his beautiful precious rings, and his big gold chain with a heavy pendant. Kubera was also the biggest show-off of all. He loved to show off all of his wealth to every single person. One day, Kubera decided to throw the biggest banquet ever, a grand party, an enormous feast. To his feast, Kubera invited every single person. The farmers, the villagers, the guards, the soldiers, the kings, the emperors, the queens, the princesses, and also the gods up in heaven. Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu, and all of the other gods to come to his grand feast. Kubera invited Lord Shiva as his guest of honor because Lord Shiva was the most important god in heaven. Kubera went all the way up to Mount Kailash to invite Lord Shiva. Now, boys and girls, you may not know about Lord Shiva, but Lord Shiva did not like to be disturbed, and he loved silence and peace. He lived way up high at the top of Mount Kailash, where it was cold and snowy and quiet. Lord Shiva, I am Kubera. I am treasurer to all the gods, and I am holding the biggest, grandest, most elegant feast of all, and I have come to invite you, Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva opened his eyes. He looked down at Kubera. Kubera, can't you see that I am busy? I am not able to come to your feast, but I will send a more important person to your feast. My son, Ganesha. Ganesha will represent me at your feast. Now leave me alone and go. Kubera was so happy that little Ganesha, with his beautiful wide flapping ears, his large lovely eyes, and his beautiful trunk, was going to be his guest of honor. Kubera excitedly ran all the way down the mountain. Boys and girls, can you help me run like Kubera? 1, 2, 3. Kubera ran all the way down Mount Kailash to his palace. He summoned his servants to prepare the finest dishes of all because Lord Ganesha was coming to his feast. All the servants began to cut and slice and chop. Can we do that together? 1, 2, 3. Cut and slice and chop. Cut and slice and chop. Cut and slice and chop. There was so much food being prepared. Kubera dressed up in his beautiful crown, in all his amulets and his finest silks, and he waited. One by one, the guests began to arrive. The queens and kings and emperors and princesses and princes and farmers and soldiers, and even the gods. And then little Ganesha arrived. Everybody fell silent. Lord Ganesha had arrived. They bowed down to Lord Ganesha. Kubera welcomed Lord Ganesha and made him sit on a special golden throne. Little Ganesha sat down. I'm hungry. Quickly, Kubera clapped his hands and the servants came with food, all kinds of delicious food. And little Ganesha began to eat and eat and eat and eat. I'm hungry. Kubera clapped his hands and the servants brought more food. And little Ganesha began to, you know what to do, boys and girls, eat and eat and eat and all the food finished. I'm still hungry. There was no more food left. Ganesha got up and Ganesha went into the royal kitchen, and Ganesha picked up all the pots and went. He ate up everything in the kitchen. There was nothing left. He ate the fruits, the vegetables, the rice. He drank all the milk and yogurt. There was nothing left. I'm still hungry. And little Ganesha picked up the pans, the pots, the dishes, and he went munch, crunch, munch, crunch. Can we do that with Ganesha? He picked up all the pans and pots and dishes and he went munch, crunch, munch, crunch. He ate every dish and pot and pan in that kitchen. I'm still hungry. Ganesha ran and ran and ran and ran into the palace. He picked up the golden throne and he swallowed it whole. Everybody ran out of Kubera's palace. The guards ran out, the cooks ran out, the gods ran out. Only Kubera remained. Please, Ganesha, do not eat everything in my palace, I beg of you. Little Ganesha opened the door to Kubera's treasury. He ate up all the diamonds, he ate up all the rubies, he ate up all the emeralds, he ate up all the sapphires, gold and silver. I'm still hungry. And Ganesha looked at Kubera and he ran after Kubera, and Kubera ran for his life. He ran and ran and ran and ran all the way up to the top of Mount Kailash. Little Ganesha chased and chased and chased and chased, and Kubera ran and ran and ran and ran and ran, and little Ganesha chased and chased and chased and chased. Kubera fell down in front of Lord Shiva. Please, Lord Shiva, help me. Your son Ganesha is coming to eat me up. Help me, Shiva, please. Lord Shiva opened his eyes. Ganesha, go to your mother Parvathi. She has prepared your favorite food of puffed rice with honey. And just like that, little Ganesha left Kubera alone and went to look for his mother Parvati. I've learned my lesson, Lord Shiva. I've learned not to be a show-off. I've learned not to be so greedy. I have learned the biggest lesson of all, Lord Shiva. Kubera had learned the biggest lesson of his life. And little Ganesha had taught big Kubera the biggest lesson of his life.